everybody. Welcome to the ADCAST. This is episode 2 with the one and only Jason Hennessey. So I'm hoping that our creative team can put some applause in the background right now as I said your name, Jason. So if you missed the other episode with Jason and I, Jason is what we call an SEO expert, and SEO stands for search engine optimization. But don't take my word for it. You should listen to Jason and all the success he's had across the country, and especially working in the personal injury space. But Jason, for those folks that didn't listen to the last episode, would you be so kind to kind of tell them exactly who you are and what you do?
Sure. So again, Jason Hennessey. I'm based in Los Angeles. Agency is called Hennessey Digital. We were just 290 on the Inc. fastest 5,000 growing companies, private companies in America. We specialize in organic SEO. I've been doing it since 2001. Love it. Have a passion for it. And if anybody needs help with that, reach out. It's Hennessey.com, HENNESSEY.com.
All right. Thank you, Jason. Definitely an honest guy. And I mean, he'll tell you the truth. He's not one of those guys who's actually after your dollar. So definitely one that you can take his word for it and trust him. So Jason, we were talking about so much stuff about SEO, and I know we got an episode with a friend and colleague of yours coming up down the road, but SEO, SEM, people get so confused. Are they brother and sister? Are they cousins? Are they just friends? What are they, and how should we use them together?
Yeah. So SEO stands for organic, right? Search engine optimization. It's all the I guess you can call it the free space on Google, right? Within their algorithm, you're playing against the algorithm. Whereas SEM is really more of like paid media, right? So should you be doing both? Absolutely, but you should be tracking it, right? They're just different mediums, they're different sources, right? So if you're investing X into SEM, right, and it can go multiple different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can go YouTube pre-roll ads, it can be Facebook ads, it can be retargeting, right? You should be precisely tracking, every dollar spent, and if it's profitable, you just continue to do it, right? Same thing with TV, with radio, with billboards, although billboards are a little bit harder to track. But yeah, as long as you're tracking it precisely, they're just more sources to generate awareness of your brand or your company. And if the company is growing, then you put more money into, what's more profitable for you.
Right. You feed the door that screams the loudest, right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So now, Jason, you kind of made the perfect segue where you were talking about these different mediums, and then I kind of want us to wrap this up as a little bit of a mini cast here. And I want us to kind of enter into what we call kind of a lightning round. This is where I'm going to ask you about certain mediums, and I want you to kind of tell me in your own words, there's no right or wrong answer, exactly what you think about those mediums today, okay? And so, you ready?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Awesome. Television.
Television is big. It remains big. The only problem is that you're competing now against so many other different media formats, right? Hulu, Netflix, right? So if you're doing television, just measure it, right? If it's profitable exercise for you, I would continue to do it, for as long as it produces the ROI that you're getting from it.
Radio.
Radio is it's I would compare it with TV, right? Because instead of people listening to radio, they're listening to podcasts like these now, right? So with that, I would just track radio. I wouldn't, if you have a small budget, I don't think I would start with radio, right? I would probably go more digital these days. But if you've already, you want to continue to do more experimentation, radio is definitely a viable source.
Okay. Billboard.
Billboard is a branding play, right? It's very hard to track. And usually you see a lot of law firms on billboards. And if you're in a small market and you're trying to brand yourself, it's certainly not a bad strategy We share a client that has dominated the whole South Carolina space in the legal industry with billboards, right, and TV, and so certainly worked out for them. And I think again, I don't think it would be something that I would start a business with, but as you start to gain traction, yeah, it's a good viable source.
All right, and great point. I mean, it could be market by market. Every market's different, and every client's different. Totally correct. Let's just say internet radio, like Pandora, Spotify.
Sure. I think still experimental. Personally, I haven't had any of our clients that had like massive successful case studies from that. We've got clients that are experimenting with like Waze, right? Like personal injury lawyers experimenting with advertising on Waze. I think the jury's still out on that. It's experimental. But I think as Pandora, they're able to refine their results so that they're able to display localized ads. And so it's an experiment still. I don't think the jury's out on that yet, though.
Okay. Let's say streaming, like Hulu.
Hulu. Is there ads on Hulu?
Yeah.
Is there? I don't watch too much of that.
That's because we're busy working, man. we're working. We are working, so we hardly ever get time to do it. So
obviously, I don't think I would invest a lot of my money in that. But I'm sure it's a viable source for people to experiment with and see. But yeah.
SEO.
SEO is I think that there's some people that say SEO is dead, right? And I even have a shirt that says SEO is dead. This one's the opposite. It says I love SEO, right? To be honest with you, SEO is probably the biggest digital footprint footprint asset that you can create. Content creation, content strategy. The only problem with SEO is, Google is continuing to bury organic below the paid placements. And that's been a challenge. But SEO is here to stay. And I don't think it's the only way SEO goes away is at some point if Google gets regulated, right? Possibility, but I don't think it's in the near future.
You made a comment earlier about like if someone made a blog post 3 years ago, they could still get some traction from it or get a client from a year later or whatever. And I agree with you, and I believe you, and I agree with you that SEO is actually important as well. Like we've said in other conversations before, the internet is instant, constant, and permanent. It's instantly available. You can constantly refer to you, and it's permanent. It's going to always be there. So I do agree with you, definitely for sure. SEM, and then we'll end it there.
Yeah, SEM. I'm a big fan of SEM. I've got clients that are killing it in SEM. As I mentioned, I just got back from this Mass Torts Made Perfect site. Or conference, and so you have people that are actually just using like Facebook to like literally target a certain demographic that might have taken like this drug based on where they live and the population of the town, and like so it's so pointed with the way in which you can kind of target an audience that I think is really powerful.
Yep.
But that's something that you can lose money so quickly if you don't know what you're doing.
Got it.
So for that, I would advise you to try to. You can experiment with yourself, but I would probably get some consultation from somebody that truly knows that space, because the money that you save in the long term will be a lot greater than you trying to experiment and trying to figure it out on your own.
100%. I agree. Now, this one, I lied to you. I thought that was the last one. Social media.
Like just organic social media.
Yeah, organic social media.
Or let's just call it organic social media. That is that's the perception of who people think you are, right? And so if you're trying to target, to the demographics, so like my kids that are in high school right now, right? Most of them aren't going to be watching Judge Judy at noon on a Tuesday, right? That's not the lifestyle that they've become accustomed to.
Yeah.
You're going to try to capture them on Facebook, on more Instagram and Snapchat, and all of the mediums that they are used to using.
Yeah, TikTok now.
Yeah, I would try to, because you probably don't have a lot of expertise in that, but you should definitely become very aware, because that's where the future is going.
Absolutely. Well said. Jason Hennessey, it's been a pleasure. It's been amazing to have you on the ADCAST, man. So once again, just go ahead and give us that website address for folks to be able to get in touch with you.
Sure. Hennessey.com, HENNESSEY.com. And Eric and team, thank you so much. It's been an honor to be on this podcast with you. Like I said, I'm a big fan of you, your company, your work, and looking forward to watching you continue to take over the internet.
Oh, man, you're making me blush, Jason. Come on, man. So I want to thank you so much for your time, and I want to thank everyone out there listening. Thank you for giving us your most valuable asset, which is your time. This is the ADCAST.
Thank you for listening to the ADCAST, the podcast for marketers and advertisers. Please be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever podcasts are found.